Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're tackling something that sounds really delicious, actually, a specific food and wine pairing.
Yeah, one source we looked at calls it a, quote, match made in culinary heaven, especially for warm weather.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
It's Albariño wine paired with spicy shrimp tacos.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so we've got this article digging into that combo.
Exactly. And our plan for this deep dive is to unpack that. Pull out the key stuff, the tips, why it works.
And maybe figure out how easy it is for, for you listening to actually make it happen.
Right. It feels like it's aiming for that sweet spot, big flavor, not too much work.
Maybe a little science thrown in.
Seems like it. Let's get into it.
Okay, so the article kicks off by saying this is basically the pairing for summer nights.
Yeah, and that makes sense, right? Summer cooking, you want it easy. You definitely don't want to be slaving over a hot stove for hours.
Absolutely not. So is that the main appeal here? Simplicity.
That's a huge part of it, yeah. It delivers this kind of refreshing complexity, but without needing a ton of effort.
Right. Something you can actually pull off after work or for a casual weekend thing.
Exactly, and the article really emphasizes the chemistry, the basic idea.
Which,
Well, that crisp acidity in the Albariño, it just cuts right through any richness in the tacos, like from the shrimp or maybe avocado crema.
Ah, okay. So it balances it out.
Perfectly. And it doesn't just cut, it sort of complements the spices too. Creates this really nice harmony that just feels summery.
Yeah, it's not fighting it, it's making it better.
Right. And the source mentions its versatility.
Yeah.
Great for having friends over on the patio, last minute.
Or just a quiet night in.
Yeah. It walks that line casual, definitely.
Yeah.
But it still feels a little bit sophisticated.
Okay, let's zoom in on the wine then. Albariño. Where's it from? What's its deal?
So, it's Spanish. Comes from the Rías Bajas region, which is right up there on the coast.
Okay, coastal Spain. Does that influence the wine?
Hugely. The source really highlights that. It's key to its character.
So what does it taste like? What are we looking for in the glass?
It's typically a really vibrant white. You get these bright stone fruit notes, think apricot, maybe some peach, and then that acidity we talked about, really mouth-watering. And often this subtle hint of saltiness, like a minerality.
Ah, the coastal thing.
Exactly. That's often chalked up to the vineyards being so close to the ocean. It almost sounds purpose-built for seafood.
It really does. So connecting it back to these tacos specifically, why is it the perfect match?
Well, a few reasons the article points out. That crispness contrasts beautifully with richer toppings. If you load up on avocado or sour
It
cream.
sticks through that.
Right. And then the citrus notes in the wine itself, they latch onto the lime and garlic in the shrimp marinade. They kind of echo each other.
Okay, I like that. There was a quote in there, wasn't there, from a chef?
Yeah, something like Albariño doesn't fight flavor, it refreshes it.
That's a great way to put it, like a little reset button with every sip.
Exactly. And they even suggested a specific bottle, the Lagar de Cervera Albariño, 2022.
Oh, yeah. What did they say about that one?
Just that it had that classic zippy acidity, the mineral notes, medium body. Complex enough to stand up to the bold taco flavors, but it wouldn't, overpower anything.
Okay, so it tastes good together. We get that. But the source mentions some science behind it, too. What's going on there?
Yeah, this is where it gets kind of cool. It's not just luck. There are actual reasons. First is that acidity again.
Always back to the acidity.
Well, yeah. It acts like a palate cleanser. It cuts through fat and richness, stops your taste buds getting kind of bogged down or fatigued.
Ah, so each bite stays bright and interesting, like hitting refresh.
Exactly. Keeps it lively. Then there's alcohol level.
Okay.
Albariño tends to be lower, like 12, 13% maybe. And that's actually better with spice.
Really? How come?
Because higher alcohol can actually make heat feel more intense. It amplifies the burn. So lower alcohol keeps the spice enjoyable, not painful.
Huh. That's totally counterintuitive. I would have thought the opposite.
Yeah, most people do. But lower alcohol lets the actual flavors of the spice and everything else come through without just blasting you with heat.
Interesting. And the minerality.
That subtle saltiness we mentioned, it just naturally clicks with the brininess of seafood, like shrimp. It's a natural pairing.
And what about these flavor bridges the article talked about?
Right, so that's when similar notes in the food and wine amplify each other. Think citrus.
Like lime on the tacos.
Exactly. You got lime in the marinade, maybe squeeze some on top.
Yeah.
The citrus notes already in the Albariño get kind of highlighted by that. They resonate, making both the wine and the food seem brighter, more vibrant.
Okay, got it. Wine. Science. Check. But we need the other half. The spicy shrimp tacos. Tell us about the recipe and the source.
Right, the recipe itself. It really plays up the easy, quick angle. Makes about 4 servings.
And timing, how long are we talking?
Pretty quick, maybe 15 minutes prep. Then you let the shrimp marinate for, say, 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
And the actual cooking, super fast, like 10 minutes, so total, maybe 40 minutes, including marinating time.
Perfect for a weeknight. What's in that marinade? What gives it the kick?
It's a pretty classic mix. You've got your shrimp, olive oil, garlic, smoked paprika that gives it a nice smokiness, chili powder, cumin, cayenne for heat.
Which you can adjust,
Oh
presumably.
yeah, definitely adjust the cayenne. Then lime juice, salt, pepper. Simple stuff, but effective. Hits all those key taco notes.
And then building the tacos, what toppings did they suggest?
Shredded purple cabbage, good for crunch.
Yeah.
And color cilantro, sliced avocado, and then sour cream or Mexican crema for that cooling element.
Nice. Any optional extras?
Yeah, they mentioned quick pickled red onions, which sound great. Mango salsa for some sweetness.
Ooh, that could work well with the Albariño.
Totally. Or just extra lime wedges. Lots of room to customize.
And the cooking instructions. Sounds like the shrimp is the key part.
Absolutely. Marinate. Prep your toppings while it sits. Then get a pan nice and hot and cook the shrimp fast. Like 2 to 3 minutes per side. Seriously quick.
Don't overcook the shrimp.
That's the #1 rule. Then just warm your tortillas, assemble, and you're done.
Simple enough. Did they give nutrition info?
Yeah, roughly. Around 420 calories a serving, 23 grams protein, 18 fat. The usual breakdown.
Okay. And they compared it to something else?
Right. They mentioned it's kind of similar to like a lemon garlic shrimp pasta vibe,
Okay.
but emphasized that because of the spice here, the Albariño is a much, much better match than whatever you might normally pair with that pasta.
Gotcha. Any suggested variations on the recipe?
Yep. Adding mango or pineapple salsa was one playing up that sweet, spicy thing.
Makes sense.
Using Greek yogurt instead of crema for a lighter touch, or even swapping the protein grilled fish instead of shrimp, or tofu for a vegetarian version.
So it's flexible. What about pros and cons they listed?
Pros were pretty clear. Bold flavors,
Yeah.
genuinely quick and easy,
Uh-huh.
naturally gluten-free if you stick with corn tortillas, looks fresh and colorful, great for casual entertaining, easy to scale up. People love DIY tacos.
And the cons?
Mainly that risk of overcooking the shrimp. It happens so fast.
Yeah, gotta be quick.
And, well, you do have to chop and prep several fresh ingredients for the toppings. That takes a little time, maybe the most time-consuming bit.
Okay, even though it's casual, the article had tips on, like, serving it well, making it feel a bit special, even if it's just Tuesday night dinner.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about getting super fancy, just a few easy touches. First thing, chill the Albariño properly.
Right. Temperature matters. What did they suggest?
Around 45 Fahrenheit or 7 Celsius. Get it in the fridge ahead of time. Too cold, you dull the flavor. Too warm, it loses that crisp, refreshing quality.
Good tip. What else?
Presentation.
Yeah.
Instead of just plating it up, maybe arrange everything on a nice big cutting board or a tray. Put the shrimp in one bowl, toppings in others, warm tortillas stacked up.
Make it interactive.
Yeah. Little bowls for extra lime, sprinkle cilantro over everything. Use nice napkins. Small things that make it feel more like an occasion.
I like that. They quoted something about effort, didn't they?
Yeah. Good wine makes dinner better, but a little effort makes it unforgettable.
Nice. That's true.
Totally. And adding something like those quick pickled red onions they mentioned, super easy. Just sliced red onion, lime juice, salt. Let it sit for 30 minutes, but it looks great and adds that extra tangy bite.
Yeah, elevates the whole thing with minimal fuss.
Exactly. Makes it feel cohesive.
So this pairing sounds great for lots of times, but did the source highlight any perfect occasions?
Yeah, it leans heavily into those moments where you want something delicious and kind of special, but absolutely zero fuss.
Like Friday night after a long week.
Perfect example. Helps you shift into weekend mode. Or, like we said, impromptu get-togethers with friends.
Easy to scale up.
Totally. Put out a taco bar, everyone's happy.
What about date night?
It works. It's fun, it's shared, but it's also light. You don't feel super weighed down afterwards. Good for conversation.
Yeah. So basically, any warm weather gathering where you want good food but a relaxed feel?
Pretty much sums it up. Celebratory, but not stuffy.
Okay, reality check. What if you go to the store and you just can't find Albariño? Did the source offer backup options?
Good question. Yes, it was practical about that. The main goal is still a crisp, aromatic white, or maybe a rosé that can handle the spice and freshness.
So what were the suggestions?
First up was an off-dry Riesling.
Off dry, so a little bit sweet.
Yeah, just a touch. That hint of sweetness can actually balance the cayenne heat really nicely. And Riesling still has great acidity to keep it fresh.
When would that work best?
Especially good if you are adding something sweet to the tacos, like that mango or pineapple salsa.
Okay. What else?
Sauvignon Blanc. If you like those more grassy herbal notes, or if your tacos are heavy on lime and cilantro, Sauv Blanc's sharp acidity and green character could be great.
Makes sense. Any other styles? Bubbles, maybe?
Definitely. A sparkling rosé was suggested. Adds that festive touch. Plus, many have enough body and fruit to stand up to the shrimp and spice. Works well.
Good options.
Yeah.
Were there any wines they specifically said to avoid?
Yes. Steer clear of heavily oaked wines, like some styles of Chardonnay. The oak can really clash with the bright, spicy flavor.
Yeah.
And again, avoid overly alcoholic wines. They just make the spice seem hotter.
What about reds? Any chance?
Generally, whites and rosés are the ideal partners here. But they did say a very light-bodied red served chilled descent. Think Beaujolais maybe could work in a pinch, but it wouldn't be quite the same synergistic magic.
Got it. Whites and rosés are the safer bet for harmony.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What's the core takeaway from this source?
I think it really boils down to this. Simple ingredients, vibrant flavors, and a wine choice that complements and refreshes rather than competes.
Maximum flavor, minimum effort.
That's the mantra. It really does seem like a fantastic go-to for summer eating.
And it's adaptable, which is key.
Totally. You can tweak the heat, play with endless toppings, even swap the wine using those alternatives. The basic blueprint is solid.
So the promise is a really bright, satisfying meal experience without a ton of stress.
Exactly what you want when it's warm out.
So there we have it. Albariño and spicy shrimp tacos. Seems simple on the surface.
But backed by some cool, sciencey reasons around acidity and flavor interaction.
Deliver something that feels kind of sophisticated, but is totally casual and perfect for summer.
We definitely think you should give it a try. Or at least experiment with the ideas, the variations.
Absolutely. And digging into this leaves us with a final thought to chew on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if specific things like acidity, alcohol level, and these flavor bridges can create such a perfect pairing here, what other unexpected food and drink combinations might be out there? Combos that could unlock that same kind of delicious harmony.
That's interesting, like thinking about your own favorite meals.
Yeah. What elements in your go-to dishes might be subtly crying out for a very specific kind of drink partner you haven't thought of yet? Something to ponder.